ready?
Yeah.
All right. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. When I was a kid, I thought that I knew everything. My siblings were, or they are, 13 and 16 years older than I am, so I was always surrounded by older people. I took it upon myself to always put myself in situations that I looked like an adult. There was one time I was in kindergarten, I rode the bus home every day from school. And the bus driver didn't speak much English, but she was always really nice to me because I was her very last stop and she knew me by name, and I thought we were friends, you know? And so it was one day, and we still had like half the people still to go on the bus. And so I was like, I'm just gonna take a nap, just chill for a second. There's a lot of people, and I'll wake myself up. The bus is loud, so I lay down, and I go to sleep, and I sleep, and I sleep. And I don't wake up until the police officers carrying me off the bus at the bus depot and handing me to my hysterical crying mother and my entertained laughing father. There was another time I was in first grade, and I had my favorite teacher, and she was super cute. And she had this really short brown hair, and she always wore a really jingly charm bracelet. And she was really tall. I don't know if she was really tall because I was really short, or if she was just really tall. And she always wore jean skirts, and I idolized this woman. And I think it was because she treated me like an adult. She talked to me like one. And I took it upon myself to be like this woman. I wore jean skirts for a year of my life. I wore these hideous jean skirts for a year of my life, and I still hate myself for it. And so I walk into her classroom one day after school, waiting for my mom to pick me up because I can't ride the bus. And I'm waiting for her to pick me up, and while she's sipping on her coffee, grading papers, I'm sipping on my water, like she's sipping on her coffee. I'm just like, yeah, hi, I want to be like you. And I just casually bring up, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm totally sleeping in my parents' closet right now because we have mold in the back of the house. And she just stops. She just stops everything, and she's like, and at that point I'm like, well, this is awkward. I really don't know why you're looking at me like that, but I'm gonna go now. So I leave, and my mom's there waiting at the front of the school, and I open the door and I slide in the back seat, and she looks at me in the rearview mirror, and she's just like, so I just had an interesting conversation with Miss Halliburton. And I said, oh really? I love her. I really do. And she's like, yeah. She said that you were sleeping in the closet. And I was like, but I am. And she's like, yeah, but you didn't say that there was a king-size bed, a TV, room to play with your Barbies, a skylight, air condition. And I was like, are you sure I didn't mention that? Because I'm pretty sure I did. And no, I didn't. And then she further explained that CPS could have been called and I could have been taken away from them. And I learned my lessons then and there. Throughout middle school, I went to a private school, and we had to wear these really ugly uniforms. And it was a khaki skirt or a plaid skirt, or then you had, or if you didn't want to wear that, you had to wear these like pants like went up to here that were like cardboard, like you couldn't really move. And so I always wore the skirts. That wasn't a problem in 6th grade, but in 7th grade, all the popular girls started shaving their legs. And I wanted so desperately to be a part with this group with my unibrow and glasses. So desperately I wanted to be part of the hairless group, but I wasn't. And so those little middle school boys, you know, they'd call me like gorilla and like woolly mammoth because I didn't shave my legs. And so I went home to my mom, and I was just kind of like, Mom, they're calling me woolly mammoth and gorilla, and I just can't do this. And so she's like, you know what? Hold on, calm yourself, I'll be right back. So as I'm waiting for her, I'm like, I'm gonna be a woman. I'm gonna shave my legs, you know? And she comes back and she opens and she brings out of this bag, she hands me Nair. And I was like, and if you haven't ever used Nair, it's this pink goop that smells like horse piss and burning hair, and they tried to cover it up with like a scent of rose, and it didn't really work. And so, you know, I was like, I'm not gonna complain, I'm just gonna do it, and I'm gonna go hard, I'm gonna go for it. So I'm going, and I'm Nairing my legs, and I'm listening to Radio Disney because that was cool. And I'm going, and I'm going, and I'm going, and I'm done, and then I look at myself, and I'm just like, I'm a woman. And I go, and I was like, I'm setting my eyebrow. So I go, and I like wipe, and there's my eyebrow on my face. And I freaked out a little bit, started hysterically crying, and I ran to my mom. All she did was laugh. That's the only reaction I got out of her. She just laughed that I did not have an eyebrow on my face. And for the next 3 months, I had to draw an eyebrow on my face, and you couldn't imagine the names I was called. Yeah. But my point to all this is that there were so many times when I was a kid that I tried to be an adult, and I wasn't. And it wasn't until a couple months ago, I was in a car accident with my best friend Chris. And I was picking him up before practice, and we were going to go eat a little something before practice, and I turned left onto Decker Lane, which is like right over here. And I was in the right-hand lane, and for some reason, I had the instinct to get in the left lane. And I put on my blinker, and I'm looking at my blind spot as I'm going over, which, lesson learned. And I look over, and I literally watch myself sideswipe a car. And this has never happened to me before. And so I pull to the side of the road, and I'm like shaking, and I'm like, This has never happened to me before. I don't know what my parents are going to say. I don't know what I'm going to do. And Chris just snapped his fingers and he said, Caitlyn. And I was like, that's it. I put on my big girl panties and I went out there. I got her information. I dealt with the police. I got a ticket. But you know what? I dealt with it. And it wasn't until after I pulled away from the wreck site and I pulled into this chemical plant driveway. And I sat there and I called my mom and she answered. And I told her that I was in a car accident and she just started bawling. And I knew she cried because I was in a car accident. But I also knew it was so much more. You know, I've had so many wrecks in my life, like marrying my eyebrow off and sleeping on the bus until 9 p.m. and all this kinds of stuff. I didn't run to her this time. And she realized I was so did I. That she realized that I was an adult and I was finally grown. Thank you.